Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Andrea. I'm a full-time writing instructor at a university and a part-time content creator and indie author. I have been wanting to film this video for ages. I did film this video and it was like an hour long and I didn't know how I was going to edit it down. I'm going to try to do this a little bit faster. That was sometime last year that I filmed it and then got swept up with other stuff, so it never made it to YouTube. But I have been wanting to film this video for a while, and I'm just looking at my notes. I've got my laptop off to the side of me. I know this is old because it is titled Lessons Learned in 6 Years on YouTube. It's now been 7 years that I've been on YouTube, so I wanted to refilm this to put it up in April in time for my 7th birthday of my channel, but it was Camp Nano, so I was focused on other things. So we're gonna do this now. As you'll have seen from the title, this is going to be kind of lessons learned from 7 years on YouTube, my top advice for starting a YouTube channel, particularly for Authortubers or people who want to be Authortubers. If you are a fellow author or aspiring author and you want to create a Writertube, Authortube type channel, this is things that you might want to know. These are things that I wish I had known from the beginning. And some of these are lessons that have been hard learned over the past several years. So in an effort to keep this as concise as possible, let's dive right in. Lesson number 1, and this was one that thankfully I already kind of knew thanks to training and experience in theater and working with film and television. Look at the camera. I cannot stress this enough. This is, I think, the top rookie error that new YouTubers make, and I totally get it, especially if you're starting off by filming on your smartphone, because the screen is so big, you literally can't look away from it, whereas the camera lens on a phone is tiny and you often can't see it unless the light is hitting it just right. It's just psychological. Your brain is going to look at what is there and obvious and easy to look at, which is your face, and that's really not what you want to do. So I film on a Canon G7X, aka the vlogger camera. I love it. We'll talk about cameras next. The G7X has a flip up screen, so every now and then you'll notice I kind of look up and I'm just checking to see, am I still in focus? Do I look okay? I need mascara under my eyes, but you know, I do look up every now and then, mostly to make sure I'm in focus. So it's not that you have to look at the camera all the time, but the general rule, the bit of advice I usually give is you should be looking at the lens at least half the time that you are talking to the camera. Now, I will also sometimes look around anywhere but the camera, that's fine, but what gets really irritating and what for the viewer and what gets really disconnecting for the viewer is when you are spending the whole time talking to yourself in the view screen and never talking to the viewer in the lens. That's what you want to make sure that you are doing. You are talking to your viewer. Imagine you're talking to a friend. I think another reason why people look anywhere but the lens is because they're scared of the camera. Don't be scared of the camera. The camera is your friend. Look at the camera, look straight down the lens. Don't be afraid of the camera. Just imagine it's your friend or your future YouTube friends if you're just starting out. But look at the camera because you really don't want to be disconnected from your audience. If you are filming on an iPhone or some other smartphone, you want to kind of look at it like in good lighting so that you can see the different like lenses and things on the front facing camera side, so you can see where the lens is. So using smartphones, advice number 2, start with the tech you have. The most important thing is that your audience can see you and that they can hear you. I really would not, unless you've got money just floating around, I really would not recommend dropping a ton of money from the beginning on tech for YouTube. Buying the big fancy camera, buying a really fancy tripod, buying a microphone. I've been doing this for 7 years. I still don't have a microphone. I don't think microphones are entirely necessary. So start with what you have. If you enjoy it, if you find that you love doing the editing and the time that it takes to make these YouTube videos is something you enjoy, then you can start investing in your content creation. I think I was doing YouTube for, I think it was under a year, but it was still like at least 6 months before I bought my first like vlogging camera. I started off just using an old Canon DSLR. It didn't even shoot in HD, just a camera I already had from several years prior to starting my channel. Then I upgraded and long-term borrowed my mom's DSLR, which did shoot in HD, but it was so big and bulky and a pain to set up. And so eventually I got an Olympus pen, went through 2 of those and a Sony, and now I'm up to the Canon G7X. So I've bought a few cameras over the years, but I waited until I realized this is something I would do no matter what. I love YouTube. I love making YouTube videos, and so now it's worth it for me to spend money on cameras. If/when my G7X dies, I'm immediately going to buy a new one. So start with the tech you have and then slowly invest and add as you go. These days, smartphones are so good. I have an iPhone 11. They're now up to the 14. 15 will probably be coming out later this year. Even if you've got an 11, like even if your phone is a few years old, it's probably still more than good enough. Again, the main thing, they can see you and they can hear you. Everything else is just window dressing. It's really your personality that people are going to be subscribing to. So if you're not engaging and if you're not looking at the camera lens, it doesn't matter how good the quality, the technical quality of your videos are. If people don't enjoy watching you and listening to you, your quality can be fantastic and they're still not going to want to subscribe and continue watching you. So start with what you have, build from there. Learn as you go. I hear so many times from so many YouTubers or people who want to be YouTubers, I want to start a YouTube channel, but I'm not good at editing and I don't really know much about technology. And do you know how to work your phone? Do you know how to start your camera? Can you at least figure out how to edit chop off the awkward bits at the beginning where you're fiddling with your camera and the awkward bits at the end where you're fiddling with your camera? That's how I started. I didn't know how to use iMovie when I first started, but I was able to figure out how to cut off the really awkward bits at the beginning and the end. And then I just tried to not talk too much. Now I do know how to edit, so I can end up with an hour-long raw cut and then have to cut it down. Try not to do that, but I can. So learn as you go. Just dive right in. No, here's the thing. No one's going to be watching your channel in the beginning. I learned this. I feel like every other YouTuber learns this, with the rare exceptions of having a video that just goes unbelievably viral straight out the gate. No one's going to watch your first few videos. No one. No one. And then 1 or 2 people will watch. And then 5 people will watch, and then 10, and then 20, and then 50. It will grow, but in the beginning, no one's watching. So just start playing, just dive right in, learn as you go. So, talking about going viral, it's not gonna grow overnight. My channel still grew faster than I expected in the beginning. I thought it was gonna take me a year just to get to 100, and I got to 100 subscribers in, I wanna say it was a few months, but I think it was less than that. It really didn't take that long. The thing about YouTube is there's big YouTube, there's AdSense YouTube, there's algorithm YouTube, all the big videos that get pushed out to you, but then there's small YouTube, and come hang out with us. Small YouTube is pretty cool. It's its own community where we're actually talking to each other and engaging with each other, creators talking to other creators, creators talking to their audience, and small YouTube is pretty friendly. I made a lot of friends in the beginning out of other small YouTubers, some of whom I'm still friends with and still are creating. Hi Shannon from Pages and Polish. Others aren't creating, but have become my absolute best friend. Hi Tamsin, I know you're watching. It's not being hyperbolic to say YouTube has changed my life. Even though my channel hasn't gone viral and I don't have 1 million subscribers, it's still been an absolutely incredible journey. But it's been a long journey. So I got to 100 pretty quick, but then it took me like 3 years to get to 1,000. The journey to 1,000 was a very long journey. The bigger your channel gets, the faster you will start to grow. But even now, like according to my analytics, I'm gaining about 70, on average about 70 new subscribers a month, which is fantastic. But compared to other channels who are growing even faster, you know, it's kind of small. But that's not why I'm doing this, so it doesn't really bother me. But in the beginning, it's very easy to get hung up on numbers. So just acknowledge and keep in mind from the beginning, you're not gonna grow overnight. Going viral is the very, very rare exception. So you have to be prepared to get in this for the long run and to commit to YouTube for YouTube's sake and for creation's sake and enjoying creating these videos, and not because you're trying to get a big channel and increase visibility, or as far as authors, get more sales for your books. I'm going to talk about this in a little bit. Vlogging and being a YouTuber and content creation, it's just another form of storytelling. And I think that's why I love it so much, especially doing the vlogs. It's one of those things where you really have to get into it for YouTube's sake and creation's sake, and not for other external social validation or income stream or something like that. Which kind of leads into the next bit of advice. You have to love the platform, the content, and the community. If you're just here to whip up a few videos that you think are going to be good for the algorithm, slap them up on YouTube, and then disappear until your next video, your channel is going to have a bit of an uptick, especially if you're hitting on very popular niche videos. But if you're not engaging with your audience, if you're not fostering a sense of community within your channel, if you're not engaging with other YouTubers within your niche and kind of building your community across different channels, your channel's not going to go very far. And most importantly, you're going to burn out before you see any kind of success, because again, you're not doing it for the right reasons. So kind of related to this, participate in the community. You're not a celebrity. Sorry, I'm not a celebrity. Even with more than 3,500 subscribers and getting, you know, decent views compared to when I first started, like, my channel is much bigger than it was when I first started. Even I'm not a celebrity. Even I don't get to just kick back and enjoy all the attention from my subscribers and never reply to their comments and never engage with them. Like, no, this is a community. You have to participate in it. You've got to engage with your audience. You've got to engage with other creators, make friends with other creators, and other creators at your level. And I don't mean that in a nasty, icky hierarchy way, but just your favorite YouTuber with 100,000 or 500,000 subscribers who gets thousands of comments on every video. They're not going to be paying that much attention to you. Not because they don't want to, but because they're so overwhelmed with everyone in their comment section. You want to find other YouTubers who have started around a similar time from you, who have a similar number of subscribers, plus or minus, you know, like 1,000. So I have I have YouTuber friends who have less subscribers than me and who have more subscribers than me, and then some who are like around the same subscriber number as I am. We have gotten to know each other on YouTube. We follow each other on Instagram. We're talking on multiple platforms. They're colleagues is how I view them. Like, I've gotten to know them on a professional level and even some on a more personal level. If I have a question about YouTube, I can ask them. But I'm part of a community that I participate in regularly and actively, and don't just accept that everyone's going to pay attention to me. It's not really how it works. So participate and get involved in the community. Monetization. I'm gonna do a whole separate video on this, but just touching on it quickly. YouTube is not an easy way to earn money. So ignore any big content creator, thought leader, tech YouTube guru who tries to tell you that YouTube is a great way to earn extra money. It's not. It's not. You are going to spend so much time and energy just getting monetized, and then you're going to be very shocked with how little money you actually make once you're monetized. So again, I'll talk about this in a video probably coming up next after this one, or I might slip a vlog in between this one and that one, but in the next 1 or 2 videos, I will talk about monetization. It deserves its own separate video. It's been several years that I've been doing YouTube, quite a few years that I've been monetized. It deserves its own video. Leading on to that, for authors, YouTube is not an easy way to sell books. I have 6 books out. On the one hand, because I don't do any other form of marketing other than YouTube, I have to admit, to a certain extent, YouTube is how I sell my books. But I'm also not selling a ton of books. It's not like from my YouTube channel with 3,600 something subscribers, I'm selling thousands of books a month. I'm not even selling hundreds of books a month. I wish. But I'm not doing any marketing anywhere else. I don't do paid ads or anything like that. So I know that when I do get sales or Kindle pages read, it's from people finding me on YouTube and maybe some people finding me on Instagram. But YouTube is where I talk about my books the most. So I feel like I'm slowly drawing in an audience who is interested in me, in my life as a writer, in the novels that I create, and they hear about me talking about it so much that when a new one comes out, I kind of feel like I've worn them down enough that they actually go and buy the book. You know, I'm that way with other author tubers. If I listen to them talk about their book often enough, eventually I go buy their book. So YouTube can be a way to sell your books as an author. It's not an easy way to sell books as an author. It's not going to drastically increase the number of books that you sell. And I see this all the time in Facebook groups that I'm in as an author. Other indie authors will be talking about ways of marketing, ways of doing content marketing. Should they start a YouTube channel? And it's like, I'm always there to kind of just urge them to hit the brakes just a little bit. Figure out the reality of what you're embarking on. It takes so much time. I do 3 videos a week and I probably spend about between filming and editing and then uploading and all of that, I probably spend 15 to 20 hours a week on YouTube. It's a part-time job. I am not making a part-time income from YouTube. So, and I'm not selling a part-time income's worth of books from YouTube. So it's something that you do as a bonus for your community, for your readers. I think when people read my books and want to get to know more about me, if they follow my Instagram, if they follow my YouTube channel, you're going to see more of the behind the scenes of writing these books and publishing them. And I think that can be really interesting for a reading audience. So there is value in creating this kind of content, but the financial value in terms of revenue from the videos or royalties from books sold is going to be much lower on average than the time that you will spend making these videos. Because another thing, the audience can tell when you're not spending time on your videos. And it's hard for your audience to get invested in the long term in content that you're not invested in yourself. So if your channel is based purely around trending topics, SEO type topics, things that people are searching for, so what would be called searchable content. If you build a channel around entirely searchable content, you might have more success. You're not going to build much of a community. So that's kind of the trade-off, and you'll see lots of other content creators talking about the difference between community content and searchable content. That's a whole separate video in itself, but I think for authors wanting to start a YouTube channel, wanting to get into Authortube specifically, you really want to be creating a community around your channel. You want to be inviting your readers into a community on your YouTube channel where they'll get to know more about you, get to know more about your writing process. And so that's a whole different style of content that does take a lot more time, and you can't just half-bake that kind of content. Something to keep in mind. So it's not an easy way to sell books, but it can help you gain visibility to share your books and help you build that community around your books, which can, I think, long-term have an effect on your sales. When it comes to content, whether you're doing searchable content or community building content, you still need to be offering something of value. And you still need to be sharing information, sharing advice, teaching your audience something. On my channel, I do primarily vlogs, because that's just what I enjoy filming way more than these kinds of videos. These are fun. We do these every now and then, but this isn't the main focus of the channel. I like vlogs. That's just the direction, the journey of YouTube has taken me in. But even in my vlogs, I'm trying to share my experience, share my advice. I'm trying to show a different side of being a writer, that it doesn't have to be all about pushing yourself for high word counts, that you can have a more relaxed, slow approach to writing and still be publishing and still be getting books out. I'm a writing teacher as part of my day job, so I'm trying to teach more about not so much craft of writing, but a lot of mindset issues that I notice my students dealing with. So even though I'm vlogging, if you're watching and if you're engaging, you will learn some things along the way. And I enjoy that. You're learning through me and through my experiences and what I'm learning along the way, but you're still learning something. So it's not purely entertainment, although I think entertainment is still the majority. People are watching for the cozy writing content. I acknowledge that, but I hope you learned something along the way. Kind of going more into the content area then, I really recommend have a focus, but don't be so niche that you have no flexibility, because that is when you're going to burn out really fast. Create a channel vibe or a channel identity. I've heard people talk about having different buckets of content or different levels or layers of content. I just kind of have a general vibe. It's going to be mostly vlogs. It's going to be a lot of cozy writing content. I'm going to talk about slow living and how that impacts my work as a writer, because that's a journey that I'm going on. And every now and then I also talk a little bit about fibromyalgia and having ADD and how that impacts me as a writer. So I have specific things that I talk about, but they're all part of a general channel vibe or a general channel identity, not a super specific niche. So if I don't feel like doing a vlog, I can film one of these videos. There's always a topic video I can think of. Or when I wasn't feeling like doing topic videos and I was burning out on doing that, I was able to shift into doing vlogs. And I could still teach things in the vlogs, but that didn't have to be the main focus. I could also just share my life. So I've created making cozy, comforting content kind of my thing. That's what my viewers know they're going to get. So I'm sorry, y'all, that's coming back very soon. As you're watching this, I'm taking a much needed 2-week break once I've posted my final grades for my full-time job. So regular vlogging content will resume, but for the most part, they know they're going to get something relaxing and cozy when they come to my channel, and that's what I stick to, even if I do something a little bit different. Going along with your channel identity, pay attention to thumbnails and your channel copy / channel aesthetic. So what your banner art looks like, what your thumbnails look like, the description that you write in the About Me section of your channel, your profile picture, your channel name. I recently, well, not that recently now, but I've changed my channel name to be my name. When I first started YouTube in 2016, a lot of people were still using pseudonyms or like stage names, or blogger names was a really popular thing. Like that was just the name of that creator's blog, because I started watching a lot of beauty bloggers who were doing YouTube. But these days, as an author, it's much better for me to use my name, because that's the name on my books, and I don't want there to be a disconnection between that. So you want to pay attention to all of those things and making sure that your YouTube channel is optimized for SEO. There's blogs you can look at to teach you how to do that. I'm not going to get into SEO in this video, but that is something you want to pay attention to, because that will help your audience, your target audience, find your channel. If you've left all those things blank or left them really vague and they're not really sharing who you are as a creator, it's going to be harder for the right audience to find your videos. So look up videos or blog posts on how to optimize your channel for SEO and things like that, and use those to help you get started. Show your personality. This is something that is so important. Don't be afraid to show your personality. Even if your personality is a bit weird or wacky, or you're a bit of a dork. I'm definitely a dork, I admit it. But seriously, like, just be yourself. Don't try to be your favorite Authortuber. Everyone else is gonna go watch them. You know, there are so many popular Authortubers these days, and you can try to emulate them and mimic them, but you're always going to seem like you're just trying to copy them. It's never a good look. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Be you. I've said this before. Being yourself is the one thing you will always do better than anyone else. No one is ever going to be a better you than you. So be yourself and embrace that, and don't be embarrassed by that. It's taken me several years to get to that point with my channel. I definitely struggled to be myself in the beginning, and I was very shy and very hesitant. Seriously, go back and watch my first like 5 videos. The difference is kind of amazing, especially my first one. deer in headlights. I was terrified in my first video. Don't be afraid to be yourself. You will get used to it. You will get comfortable with being here and being on camera. You just have to get used to it. So be yourself, show your personality, and the right audience will find you. Adapt or die. This is something else I wrote down in my notes. Adapt or die. Or you can also see it as evolve or burn out when it comes to content. I really can't stress this enough. If you can't pivot, if you can't adapt as you are changing what you're wanting to do, and this is why I recommend creating a channel identity, not having a specific niche, because if you then get tired of that niche, your audience is not necessarily going to pivot with you. I know I lost a lot of people when I switched to vlogging as the primary content. There were people who were only following me in the beginning for my PhD content. I don't do that anymore. So I know I lost a lot of people because of that, but I couldn't keep making PhD content. I wasn't interested in it. It wasn't what was making me excited to film anymore. Trying to come up with sit-down topic videos during the pandemic was really, really difficult and made it impossible for me to want to keep filming. So I shifted to vlogs knowing I was going to leave some people behind, that they weren't going to make that jump with me, but then new people have found me and the channel has continued to grow. So I recommend starting from the beginning with a broader focus for your channel. It will make it slower for you to grow, but it will give you more room to pivot on a week-to-week basis without leaving a whole section of your audience behind. Okay, down to the last two things, and one is a repeat. I'm just gonna remind you again, look at the camera. It really is so important. And then the final thing, most important, treat your audience well. Just as you would treat the readers of your books well, and you wouldn't ignore them or badmouth them or something like that, I hope you wouldn't. Treat your audience well. Reply to your comments. Engage with them. If another small YouTuber starts following you and mentions that they have a channel, go check that channel out. Leave them a like, leave them a comment, subscribe if you honestly are interested in their content. Listen to their feedback. You know, your viewers are your viewers, your subscribers are your viewers. Like, you want to listen to what they have to say. If they have an idea for a video, find a way of incorporating it. I get asked questions all the time. If it's something too long to answer in the comments, I will make a note and try to incorporate it in a vlog. When I'm sitting at my desk writing, I'll take a moment in between writing some words to answer that question and make that kind of one of the themes of the video. On YouTube, the relationship between you and your audience should be a reciprocal relationship. You shouldn't be, it's not just you give them the content and they give you the view. It's more than that, because there are so many other channels for them to go watch. Channels who are building that sense of community. And so if you're not offering some sort of community, some reason for them to stick around and keep watching your videos, then they're gonna go and watch someone else. So you have to maximize on what you have to offer, which is your personality and hopefully your genuine interest in the people who are watching your content. Keep in mind, your channel is nothing without the people watching it. So little things go a long way and just show that you are paying attention to them. And I know that that's something I value a lot in the creators that I follow. And I've noticed it's something that my subscribers value in me and comment on a lot. So it's something that I never take for granted and make sure that I'm continuing to see my audience as friends and not just as a generic or random subscriber number. They're real people watching me. You are real people watching me. I never take that for granted. Every time I see my subscriber number tick up 1 or 2, it's a moment of excitement. Yay, a new friend is here. A new friend is hanging out in my little corner of the internet. And I get really excited about that. Keep in mind that a channel can wither and die almost overnight. So you really do have to engage and invest in your audience and not take them for granted, and make sure that they realize that you are not taking them for granted. So showing appreciation, showing gratitude, even if something as simple as a thank you to your audience, thanking them for watching your video, thanking them for subscribing. We underestimate how important a simple thank you can be. Also, replying to them in the comments, things like that, that goes a long way to making them feel like, okay, this creator has seen me, they've heard me, they've acknowledged me. that gives them more of an incentive to come back and continue engaging in your content, and that kind of circular loop continues. Okay, that's a lot. But I think it still ended up being a little bit shorter than the first time I did this, so hopefully I've edited this down to something a little bit more concise and succinct. But longtime viewers know me, that's not really my style. I love a good ramble and a good chat. But yeah, I hope this has helped. I hope this has encouraged some of you if you are considering starting your own author channel or writer channel. We need more writers and authors on YouTube. I would love to see Writertube and Authortube be much bigger than it is. I think we need to see more writers, whether they're published or not, sharing their process, sharing their journey, showing the realities of being a writer, especially those of us who are doing it on top of a full-time job or being a full-time student, something like that. The lofty ideal of being a writer who just sits in an attic, a really cute attic, looking out the window, tapping away on their computer, that's not the lived experience for most writers. So it's nice to have this community of other writers to see what it's like for them to chat about our writing, chat about our projects, chat about the craft of writing. So I really hope this has encouraged you, but perhaps given you a more realistic expectations of what the journey might be like. For me, I've always said my biggest regret is that I didn't start YouTube sooner. I do not regret starting YouTube at all. It has been an incredible journey over the last 7 years and 1-ish months. I wouldn't change it for the world. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't give it up. I think my channel will continue to evolve, but I don't see myself stopping anytime soon. According to Social Blade, I'm still like several years away from possibly hitting 100K, but like, hey, let's just go for it. I never thought I'd get to 1,000, let alone 3,600 and something. So I no longer think 100K is completely impossible. I just think it's going to be a really long journey. But I'm committed to that, so, you know, it's all good. So I hope this has encouraged you. If you have a writer channel, an author channel, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to pop over and say hi. If you are thinking of starting a channel, do it. It will be a lot of work, but hopefully it'll also be a lot of fun. Let's just chat YouTube in the comments. You can also leave me a camera emoji just to let me know which one of you lovely and amazing people have made it all the way to the end of this very rambly video. And then while you're down there leaving a comment and in the general description box area, you can give the vlog a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're not subscribed. I would greatly appreciate both of those things, and I will see you all very soon in the next video. Thank you for watching this one. Bye!